Okay, so after I move my chair out of the way, we're going to talk triangles and paragraphs, and we're going to pretend like this board is a gigantic wall of a board, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about the perfect paragraph. Hopefully you downloaded, printed, and have in front of you the perfect paragraph template. Hopefully you followed directions and actually printed out a copy or cut and paste a copy straight into Microsoft Word. Save as perfect paragraph. As I said before, the goal target here is to have 15 sentences, no more baby stuff, okay? 5 sentences is kindergarten, 7 sentences is middle school, 12 sentences if you have a great AP teacher, but we're in college, and what's really important is that you get the whole paragraph and all of the details necessary. We're going to start with triangles. Now, there are 2 taught methods in high school. I'm going to address them both, okay? The first thing that some of you have probably seen is the bubble method. Bubble, 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 bubble. They call this brainstorming. I call it crap because it takes all of this stuff from your head, puts it into a bubble, and you still have no idea what to write. So I don't do that. How cute, right? My little eraser. The second method is to make a list. The problem with making a list is similar to the bubbles. If you are a perfectionist and want to get it right, the list doesn't tell you if it's right or wrong. If you have nothing to say and you're not interested in the topic, the list is very hard to create. And if you are a procrastinator, you skip the list altogether and then wonder if you should have done it after the fact. So I don't do that either. I go with the triangle, and to be truthful, I use the triangle method in everything I do, all the way up to graduate level work. And hopefully, especially in this class, me standing up and teaching is going to be the preferred model now that I've got my dictation program up and running. As I said, I can talk to you for about 40 minutes even at a time. YouTube wouldn't like that, and probably you wouldn't either, but my dictation program can do it. So there we go, triangles and paragraphs. The perfect paragraph, topic sentence, that's 1. Framework sentence, that's 2. Introduce first idea, that's 3. Give specific example, detailed definition, quote, with a source, that's 4. And you guys keeping track? So we have topic sentence, framework, introduce idea, and I'm going to do give specific and pink, give specific. And then after we give the specific, we need to explain or apply. How does that example, that detail, that definition relate to the topic sentence? Then we're going to transition, comma, introduce second idea. We're going to give specifics. We're going to explain or apply. We're going to transition, comma, introduce third idea, give specific. Give specific very often has your quote and your source. We're going to explain or apply. You're going to have a wrap up, and you're going to have your transitional sentence at the end that goes from your topic sentence idea to the conclusion. Now, if we do this correctly, this, without any extra detail, is 13 sentences. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Very good. Now, good academic writing, good essay writing is a 70-30 split. Think about an iceberg, right? 70% is under the water, 30% shows. Well, in academic writing, you should have 30% research-specific support material and 70% commentary, generalized talking that comes directly from you. And so let's see how this perfect paragraph matches up. Okay, we have general, general, general. My pinks are the specific, specific, general, general. My pink is specific, general, general. My pink is specific, general, general, and general. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 generals, 2, 3 specific, That's my 70-30 split. My math works, okay? So if this is the pattern that I use throughout my academic essay, doesn't matter APA, MLA, Chicago, I'm always going to have the right combination between commentary and quoted material. So that's the first thing you know. I expect perfect paragraphs, okay? If you're in a psych course and they want you to write shorter paragraphs, you take this template and you cut it in half. Maybe you break it up right here, or you break it up right here at the 1/3 or the 2/3 mark. But the template, the structure of the paragraphs, they don't change, okay? This is academic writing at the university level. Now, where does the triangle fit into all of this? And here's the answer. If you are like me, you overthink everything. You're trying to get the right answer. You want to see what other people say. Maybe you don't like the topic at all, which I've heard now several times. Disgusting answer, by the way. The triangle has to do with you trusting your own instinct and plugging it in. I'm going to teach you the most simplistic way to write a paragraph. I want you to practice it. It's kind of like technique, how you hold a ball, how you hold a bat, how you pitch, how you stand. Your coach is going to pick on every nuance of your body, of your technique, of your structure. And that's what I'm going to do with your writing. I don't want you to do it your way. I want you to do it my way. Okay, guys? Because I'm teaching you certain techniques for a reason. They're time efficient and they take writer's block, and I'm not interested in the conversation, totally out of the equation. The video I'm going to post on Wednesday is all about SOAP, the choices you make as a writer before you write and how they connect to the 5 principles. And it will take care of every conversation stopper. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to start. I get lost in the middle. My brain loses. I read it afterwards. I delete. I stare at a blank piece of paper. I turned in something and I got a different grade than what I expected. All of those things can be avoided if you use the right technique and have a plan going into the writing process. So back to triangles. On a piece of paper, follow along with me. I want you to draw 10 triangles. Okay, so there are my triangles. Can you see them? Very good. And as I say a word, we're going to put the word inside the triangle. So let's try it. I'm going to put one word. I'm going to say pet. You try it too. Okay, now I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and you're going to write 3 things without thinking or overthinking it. What about a pet? We could talk about size. We could talk about the kind. We could talk about vets. Okay, that's one option. Let's try it again. Pet. You don't have to do this one. I'll do it. How many of you said cost? How many of you said health? And how many of you said food? Okay, let's try a different one. Pet. Cat. Dog. Fish. Okay, let's try a different one. Pet. House. Farm. Zoo. Now here's the truth. Who or which one is correct? And the answer is they all are correct. It doesn't matter what we say about pets. What matters is the structure. A does not come from content. A comes from structure. And so that's my job, is to teach you the structure and the technique so that you have the best writing in the fastest way possible without overthinking it, with a guaranteed result. Okay? So this is the exercise. You should have 10 triangles in front of you. And the quest here is not to overthink anything. I want you just to fill in the triangles, okay? I'm going to say a word. You write 1, 2, 3 as fast as you can. Ready? Okay. School. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to say money, study, future. Some of you might say test, fun, stress. Some of you might say math, English, architecture. Some of you might say financial aid, tutoring, and class attendance. I don't care what you say. Just say 1, 2, 3. Trust your instinct. Trust your life experience. Trust your gut. Okay, let's try another one. Vacation. 1, 2, 3. Remember, the word goes in the middle. Your 1, 2, 3 goes on the outside. Okay? Food. 1, 2, 3. Cars. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter. Okay. Desert. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Family. 1, 2, 3. Now, believe it or not, you just wrote a paragraph, because with those 4 words on that paper, I can create an entire paragraph using the template. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to stick with pet. And I believe that you have a detailed example of this listed in your Canvas. I go step by step and I show you the process, but I just want for my visual learners for you to see me actually do it, okay? So step 1, triangle, trust my instinct. Nobody cares what you're going to say. I don't care what you're going to say. When I'm grading your material, I'm looking for accuracy of structure, accuracy of citation. Did you follow the directions? Which some of you have not this last week. And are you open-minded? Are you growing? Are you learning? Are you even trying? That's what I'm looking for, okay? I don't care what you're saying. I care how you say it. Is the structure correct? So here we go, pet. I'm going to write a triangle, put my pet in the middle. I'm going to go small, medium, and large. Are we all good with that? Now the next thing I'm going to do is just write my template. And in best case scenario, you're going to memorize this template so that it's part of your psyche, part of your soul. I'm going to have a topic sentence, framework, transition, introduce first idea, detail, usually that has a quote and a source, explain, transition, second detail or second idea. And those ideas, they're vague, they're not specific, okay? I'm going to do a detail, usually a quote with a source. I'm going to explain, transition, third idea, just introduce it, very general, not specific. I'm going to have a detail, usually a quote with a source. I'm going to explain. I'm going to have a wrap-up sentence or 2, and I'm going to transition from pets to hobbies. Because maybe you're allergic to animals, right? So for people who are allergic for animals and they don't want to spend money on dying, they can find a hobby instead. This sets my reader up for what's coming next. Now I have my template ready to go. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to take my computer and move it up real close so you all can see what I wrote. I wonder if you see that backward or forward. It's pretty interesting, actually. I don't know. And now we're going to come back here and I'm going to fill it all in. And again, you have this in Canvas. You should be able to follow along with the process. So my topic sentence, we said, is pet. My first idea is small. My second idea is medium. My third idea is large. My wrap-up is many kinds. My framework, or the setup, is also going to be many reasons. And then my detail for small is going to be fish and lizard. My detail for medium is going to be cat and dog, and I'm going to go and I'm going to see how many people in America own these. I'm going to see how many species there are, how many colors there are, what the different classifications of the different kinds are, any kind of specific details. And this is where your paragraph gets to the 15, right? This is where you add extra detail and you really dig in so that you become an expert on the topic, that little tiny minute example. My explain. So for those who live in the city or don't have a lot of time, maybe they live in a small apartment, but they still want the pleasure of having a pet, they can get a fish or a lizard. These two things have something in common. They both live within glass. They both add some company. They're a conversation piece. They're pretty in the dark. Their lights glow, whatever you want to say. Then I'm going to transition, introduce, second idea. But what happens if somebody doesn't want a pet for entertainment? They want a pet for company. So, and maybe they have a bigger house. Introduce, next idea, a medium-sized pet might be for them. let's talk about cats and dogs, right? And again, I'm going to delve into the specifics. So many different kinds of cats, dogs, hairless, which I think are ugly, but they exist. Hypoallergenic, if you're a dog lover but don't like dog hair. That's what I should have got, is a dog, hairless dog. And I'm going to explain that these medium pets, they don't require maybe a big backyard, but they do require company. They require a litter box. They require more expensive food. They require more expensive time. Maybe they require walks or play or training. But for those who are willing, invested into spending the time and money for a medium-sized animal, there are options. And other options might include rabbits. It might be small, but I think rabbits are a pain in the ass because they move around. Transition into this third idea. But what happens if you live on a farm and you need a pet or an animal for produce or for, I don't know, so you can ride them for entertainment or transportation? So maybe I'm going to pick goats, cows, and horses, right? Here are my specifics. I'm going to tell all about it. I'm going to explain that these larger animals are not for everyone. They have high upkeep, high expense. They require a lot of land, a lot of time, a lot of exercise. They poop a lot, which is also pretty gross. And then here's my wrap up. While there are many different kinds of animals to choose from, matching up the kind of animal you have with the kind of apartment or house or land you live on is important. And making sure you can be a good pet owner. Last line. But for those who are allergic to pets or can't have pets, they might consider finding a hobby. End of paragraph. Now imagine, and you just did because this has closed caption, imagine that I was voice recording this in a sum total of 3 minutes. I just wrote probably about a 20 sentence paragraph, and that's amazing. And it came from a triangle. It came from 3 words. A paragraph is not something you should be slaving over, stressing about, or even overthinking. Everybody has life experience, and everybody is able to do this. You take 1 word, you find 3 surrounding ideas, you plug it into the template, you find your details, you find your quotes, you call it a day. This is using triangles for a perfect paragraph, and this is the assignment for discussion board 3.4. Have a nice night. I will post again on Wednesday about choices you make as a writer, SOAP, and the 5 principles of academic writing.